Hello guys, welcome back to the channel for the second installment of the Epochs. So, in part one, I'll talk about primary school really, maybe like nursery primary school type thing really. Various people I've known for years, of course. Now we're going to talk about secondary school. So, there we go. So, I went to a different secondary school than the others actually, than the other lot, really. And it was an interesting experience actually, meeting new people, getting to introduce new people in my form. I've been stuck with it for about 4 or 5 years actually, but that's the main what we're talking about. We're talking about the main form group I was in, and talk about shed some light on them actually, and some stuff. So there we go. So I think 2008, 2009 to 2013. So there we go. So yes, let's just go. To put it bluntly, we were like a rambunctious group. We were like savages, in a way. You've always, it was like, we were like one of the worst year groups, one of the worst groups or form groups in that year actually, at that time, really. It's like some, it depends who the people were. You always go to award ceremonies, of course, and you do like go on a projection. It's like, and the next winner, of course, is like form one, deserves to round, and at second place it's form 3, then it's form 6 or whatever, there's only 6 forms there were at that time. Bit different, it's like, it's like form 45-7C or whatever in other places. Here was just like simply, from 7 to 11, it was like, it was like 7.4, 9.4, 11.4, but you know what I mean, that type of thing. I was in the 4th form, I was at that time. So yeah, quite a few of us actually. I might as well get through these now actually, but yeah, let's do this. So I'll try and get some people, probably briefly a few people. Ita Andreeva, I don't know, I've never actually been interested in Ita as much really, of course. Russian, probably, really, or she looks Asian. I think she's Russian actually, or Icelandic, I don't know. I still don't know really. I've never interacted with Ita very much, so I don't really know much about her, but she's been there for 5 years, so there we go. Probably one of the less people I've interacted with most, really, indeed. Chimchera, same again, really. There we go, not much about her, really. I think she's doing Manchester now, just doing arts or whatnot, that type of thing. Living down in Manchester, so there we go. Probably just go through some of these now, actually, of course. I think there's like the main two we are sort of like, least interactive with really, but there we go. So let's go for the one. So Adam Bateman, fat man, fucking hell. So the one who trying to get into desperate for the opposite sex, obviously, bit of like, and everyone kept asking him to do the truffle shuffle from the Goonies as well. My God. So Adam, the interesting thing with Adam, he came on later actually in year 10. He did. He only stayed on for year 10, 11. He was originally in form 5 actually, but he ended up getting taken out, of course. But I don't know why. Well, actually, he got in trouble. He got caught on the wrong people. He did. So a couple of people he used to hang around with quite a lot, ended up causing a lot of trouble really. So he ended up being booted out. Ended up being transferred to our form really. So, but he's a great guy. Very funny. I met him. When did I met him actually? I think I met him before secondary actually. At swimming pool somewhere actually, many years ago. I think so. But he's a decent fellow, nice guy, really good. His mum's a physiotherapist, and yeah, bit of over himself really, of course. At that time really, bit of an idiot, gullible idiot type thing, of course. Trying to make a scene very much really, and the butt of everyone's jokes as well. But he's a great guy. What was I going to say? I think he did go to college. He did. He served his time at Asda. He's working as a rubbish man now. Actually, working on the bins, of course. There's a video of him actually I put on YouTube. I think about a couple of years ago, actually called Fat Man Stress. Again, that's him being interviewed by this black fellow in dreadlocks. That is Adam Bateman, drunk and just full on. I don't know really, but it's something really. But you can watch for yourself. It's on there. It's on my channel. Have a look. But he's a decent fellow, he is. I don't mind him. People feel like fucking Bateman, that type of thing, fat man. And he used to, again, like, do the truffle show from Goonies. They'll do, the Batman movie, fat man. That sort of thing when he walks into a room. It's funny. It's quite funny, but it's like, you're basically harassing a fat fella, you are. But there we go. But it's a decent fella. I've still got him on social media anyway, so there we go. Let's go through some more. I'm trying to think of any top of my head, of course. God. Kaya fellas. I'll probably go next. Kaya. I did like her actually. I did actually fancy her a bit actually. I think during year 7, year 8. I think actually a bit briefly actually. So yeah, she's all right really. Of course, sort of tomboyish girl really tomboyish. She's now married. She married to a guy called Harrison Jones, who I've known, who's same secretary, same year as us really. Good fella, nice guy Harrison is. And again, married to her, they got a son, and expecting another child as well. Actually, I think they're recently now, so expecting a second child. Good on them, very good. She's happy, she's enjoying herself actually, embracing family, that type of thing, so good for her. But yeah, I think over time actually, it's like, everyone's like, embracing motherhood, getting married, having their own house together, that type of thing, of course, as we all do really, as around, really. As we always do, but there we go. But she's enjoying herself, that's fine, Last time I spoke to her was at prom, so I was 16, I was 2013, and I mentioned stuff like, do Gangnam Style, it's like, like the top tune or something like that, and she sort of reacted to me as like, well, no, it's not my thing, but that type of thing, but I don't know, something like that really. There we go. That was the last time I spoke to her actually, believe it or not. So that's, oh God, 8 years ago. Blimey. Yeah, it's like 8 years ago, my God. Yeah, since prom, so there we go. Who else? Jake Dunnford, I'll probably say next. Jake Dunnford, great guy, fantastic fella. Very smart, IT technician, of course, and he's always been good. I've did a few good stuff for Jake. I did actually invite me to we did some laser tag together many years ago, we did. Invited me out a few times actually, of course, indeed. But he's a great fella. He actually helped me. I think it helped me with what's it called? Like a folding thing. I did some for English. I did involving 28 days later. You have to write your own thing, of course. You have to watch the first opening minutes of 28 days later. Danny Boyford from 2002, and see where Cillian Murphy's character has to wake up the hospital bed. What does he do next? So you have to write this thing down actually. And he's sort of like, I wrote this thing called 28 Day Craze, of course, and it really, I enjoyed it actually. I thought, this has got actually very good stuff actually. And I built on it by doing more 2 installments, of course. There's like a trilogy, like a written trilogy, typed up trilogy of a different alternative version of, 20 days later, or something like that, really. Like a very different version, of course. Something involving a second part involving kids being drowned or something like that, really, or being executed, of course. I don't know actually. It's like a weird thing, because of that being affected. I think in the third one, of course, it's in Paris. It is. I think it was called Tour d'Effect. That was. I think the second one was called the Apocalypse Element. That's all not too big finish audio there. Yeah. So obviously helped me with that, of course, and he didn't turn to prom actually. He was one of those. I didn't turn to prom. Jim didn't. Adam did. Kaya did. Jake didn't. So there we go. He didn't turn to prom. There we go. And that's the last time. I think it was like we were all finishing off. That was the last time I saw him because he went to university to water polo. Actually, believe it or not. Don't know what he's doing now. Strange actually. So there we go. Josh Granger. I'll probably do next. Josh, always been sort of a geek. Bit of an athlete as well, actually. I think something like that, really. So he's like the in between, really. I didn't mind Josh. He's a decent fella, of course. He's a good man. Do a lot of cycling, of course. He did. That type of thing. I think athletics stuff. He sort of did. Improved on when he was in university, really, at the time. So yeah, but again, pretty good achievement. Last time I saw him was in Wetherspoons actually, in 2017 doing Super Sunday actually. I'll briefly mention that night later on actually, when I finish talking about everyone else really. But he's a decent bloke, he is. Nice. I'll probably mention about Matthew Newhouse as well. Great guy, Matt. Decent fellow of course. Everyone shout fire. of course, when he walks into a room, because he was, again, full gin she was, proper gingerella he was, still is, and everyone just shout fire. That's the whole thing, like, especially like doing PE times, of course, when you're in change rooms and whatnot. That was something. Let me think. Yeah, not much about him really. I think last time I saw him would have been at prom actually. Yeah, prom, he was there. And since then he's been doing a lot of photography actually, so good for him. And rock climbing as well. He's done a lot of rock climbing photography. Good for him, Christ, I won't do rock climbing, never do actually. Can't bother doing that stuff. No, I'm not a fan of it, really. So there we go. Matthew Newhouse. Who else? Ellie Helm. I'll probably say Ellie Helm now. Well, not Ellie Helm anymore. She's Ellie Lefrancis. I think that's her last name. Ellie, you always saw like a wild child. She was beautiful. Yes, she's beautiful, good looking. But always a bit of a wild child. She was. And in my, she's always pretty decent. Always going with me all right. She did. Always good. Again, always good looking. She was. Always wear like good looking slim jeans, skinny jeans and everything else, that type of thing. If you look at Muff today, she'd or if we're doing like a trip out, some like walk, like a coastal thing, like a geography type thing. Of course, what everyone did, really. Always wear like slim and stuff. You look very slim and that type of thing. Yeah, indeed, of course. But always good looking anyway. Always beautiful anyway. So yeah, that's one thing. Last time I spoke to her actually was in prom as well. She was there. I think I was actually saying, remember the last time I actually see her actually. Gave me a hug actually, believe it or not. And that was it really. And she ended up moving to the States with it, and she ended up going to married to a guy called Lucian, Lucian DeFrancis. And also she got married. She ended up being married in Lake District anyway, really. On home turf, she did. So I think she's still here actually, I think. Or she's gone back to the States, I don't know. Well, she lived in the States for a bit, of course. That type of thing, which is happily married. Living their life, so that's good for her, And she's found the perfect balance, so there we go. Okay. So that's Ellie Helm. Kia Everington is next. Kia. Nice fella, actually. Very small fella as well. Very sort of tanned fella as well. Good complexion to him as well. It's interesting, actually, because with him, my parents know his mum actually through Equi, really. I think one of his last sisters, or his mum's daughter. I don't know, it's a bit of a complicated thing, really. That type of thing. But they sort of know each other really for a good number of years. And they say, "Oh, you know my son, don't you?" Yeah, we went to the same farm together, of course. Yeah, of course. Bob, I was like, Hughes, great fella, great guy, of course. I was getting well with him anyway. Indeed, he moved to Tampa, Florida. He went to university, graduated. I think what he's doing now is actually like a chef thing, of course. I don't know if it's like he's a chef or he's like a food critic or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird thing, of course, what he's doing. But he has a social media account to it anyway. I still follow that. But yeah, bit of an interesting thing, really. But he's living in the States now. He is. I think where his dad is actually. So there we go. But he's living in Florida. Our relationship. So there we go. Who else? I'll probably say Amy Hewkins next, actually, I probably think. Amy Hewkin, I didn't mind. Amy's alright, she was decent, she was. I'm trying to think. Very sort of emo-ish, a little bit emo-ish, really. Sort of like, I won't say fully goth very much, but a bit emo, I would say. But she's decent, she was decent. She was, always going with her well. I think she lost her mum when back in, we were in year 11, I think, something like that, of course. She didn't go to prom. Kia got to prom. He went to prom, he did. I remember. There's pictures to prove it anyway, so there we go. Amy didn't turn up. I think that was actually due to her mum's passing, I think, actually. But since then, she's been to university, got a relationship, so everyone's gone to university, been in relationships, that type of thing, so there we go. But she seems to be doing okay. There we go. April Howie is next. She always softly spoken, always very gentle. She was April. I always think means well. Nothing wrong with her really. She's just really good, indeed. Did a lot of photography, a lot of art stuff really. I think at the time went to university and made us a bit of photography, that type of thing. But she's still doing well, of course. Live around here in the lake still. So there we go. She's doing well. Who else can I think of? Right, let's go for it. So Jamie Leech. Jamie's always been something, of course. You know, great guy, very laddish fella, really laddish fella, great guy. I usually see him like on night out. It's like, hey, good to see you again, you absolute legend, that type of thing. It's like, it's a weird thing, of course, but there we go. But he's a good guy, fantastic fella. You know, bit of a reckless, you know, loose cannon type fella. Really, you know, obviously us kids, you know, well, us a lot really by the time because being the worst form ever. You know, you always get your wild cards, you get your wild characters and everything else. Jamie was sort of one of them, really, in a way. Uh, Indeed. I always thought there was a funny thing that was, I still remember this. I think it was when it was announced that Star Wars was being coming back with J.J. Abrams before Force Awakens came out. This would have been in 2013, I think this was. So this would have been a couple of years, actually. So it was like announced that, you know, Star Wars is coming back, that type of thing. I think it was actually through the deputy head of Mike Bousfield who did that, and he did this thing like a puppet show, like pantomime thing, of course. And he put on Jamie Leach and a guy called Ashley Briers, I think his name was Ashley Briers, yeah, from a different form. I think it's in Form 6 he was. And he read this, and obviously, you know, can you recreate the competition between Ben Kenobi, Alec Guinness, and Vader from A New Hope, or Star Wars, you know, Star Wars New Hope, whatever you call it. And he ripped some of the old lyrics. He ripped some of the script actually and put some stuff like, you know, you're bunking off school, you're seeing prize, you're wearing tight shorts, and that sort of stuff. It's like, you know, wait, what? And he was sort of laughing. It's like, wait, what? You know, he's like that deputy head Bouncy was trying to embarrass him in front of the school. You know, saying that sort of thing, like it's quite homosexual stuff on it. I won't say truly. I mean, Bousfield's a married man, and that sort of thing, really. But you know, it's a bit of a weird thing, really. That's like one of the moments I remember, really. Jamie didn't go to prom. He did, and I see him a few times in nights out in my local town anyway, drinking, of course, that type of thing. So I see him sometimes, really, not most of the time, really, but like now and again, it's like a weird something like, hey, how you doing, mate? That type of thing, you know, type stuff, really. But he's always great. Jamie Linton is next. We had two Jamies in the form. We did Jamie. He's always great. He's a very barrel of laughs. He's something. He is, you know. He's a great guy. We did some table tennis championships together. We did, which is great. We did actually a good portion of the time, really. I think for a good year or two, I think, actually. But he's a great guy, fantastic fella. Always a bit of a golfer he is. You know, he's always interested with golf, Jamie. But he's a really good guy, really good guy. Yeah. What was I going to say? There's some funny moments with him, actually. I can probably blag out now. He won't even see this anyway, so there we go. He did fancy a girl called Megan Williams, who was in our form, which I probably won't mention in this lot anyway, but she ended up moving anyway, of course. But Jamie did say she fancied him. It's like, you know, Mike, can you go and tell Megan what you think of me? It's like, okay, why'd you just do it yourself? It's like, no. Well, she'll probably think it'd be a bit weird. It's like, okay. So I basically went up actually, of course, like talk to this girl, who's very. I'm trying to think. You know, you probably think like she's like, you know, reality level type style look of her, really. If you look at reality shows you see on ITV and whatnot, I always describe Megan. Nowadays she's basically starting to be like working law now. She is, strangely. But back in the day she was probably like, you know, be like this sort of like sluttish girl, really, like a bit of a slut, really. How to describe her back in the day. Yeah. So I ended up asking her anyway, you know, like sort of, and it's just like, well, I don't know, really, of course, you know, it's sort of nothing really ever came from that, really, indeed. Bit of a strange thing, really, but that was one thing. So, and obviously, I think I mentioned maybe when a couple of years later, I think, actually, like that, or maybe a year later, and he denies that. Jamie does deny it, like, no, I've never said that. You know, it's like, no, fuck off, Mike. That's, you know, that. that's never, that was never, um, I never said that anything. I would never like making that stuff like, that sort of thing. It's like, it did. So that's the truth out. Actually, yes, it was true. It was. So there we go. Indeed. So that's the one thing. Jamie, I did see him in he went to prom, he did. So yes, I did see him a couple of years ago. Actually, he was in a suit. I think it was like doing lunch break. Actually, I think I was in town. I might have been on lunch break as well because I might have been working at that time. I think. But we saw bumped into. She was like, "Hey, how you doing, mate? You okay? Yeah, yeah." That's how I think. Like a whole brief conversation. I was like, it was passing by actually. So I was like, "Oh, okay." I haven't seen him for a long time, blimey, really. I know he went to university, did, so there we go. Also, I mentioned, also his dad had a punch up with Brandon Flowers, the lead singer of the Kaiser Chiefs, as well. So that was a little funny story he always brings up. He does, ends up in a bit of a tussle. So there we go. There's Jamie for you. Josh Langhorne. I'll probably say Josh Langhorne's next. Drama queen. A bit of a wet fart, drama queen, bit of a, whinge bag, I would say. Always moans a lot, always getting punched a lot as well. Always been someone's punching bag. No, I never do anything to the fella, but you always get people like, him whining and being punched in the dick and everything else, like in the balls, everything else, like, he'd probably go on like a little tangent or something like that, really. It's like, no, we should be like this. It's like, shut up. And you'll just be like, oh, and it's basically like, like be dramatic, and it's not like a really dramatic way with him, really, but yeah, indeed, he's always been a bit of a whinge bag, I would say. He didn't go to prom actually. It was interesting, but from what I know from social media, he's quite tall. He's actually grown in height. He's very lanky and a bit sort of taller. Like he's really got like, because I remember being like very short when he's about 16 or not, but he's sort of grown in height now, which is a bit strange, a bit weird. But there we go. I would describe him as a whinge bag. Which probably nicely leads me to Matty Martinson, or Matt Martinson, or something like that, Matty, great guy, he's a great fellow as well, he is, very, very funny comic relief, bit of a class clown he was, oh, very funny, always like with spiky brown hair, like, that sort of thing, like always spiked up and everything else, very funny, oh my god. Oh, he didn't have to make people laugh, he did. So including me as well. He was a very funny guy. Great guy, didn't go on prom, he went to college, and he's doing dance now, which is good for him. Something he probably wants to do anyway. So yeah, he never did dancing here, because we had like a dance class or something like that. He never did that actually. I think it's like later in life, really, after secondary school, college, whatnot, that sort of thing. He just did that really. So there we go. Well, he's enjoying. He's embracing it. He's enjoying himself. He's been like in a few like dance classes, academies, whatnot, that type of thing. But he's embracing it. So there we go. Who else? Ellie Kenny. I'd probably say Ellie Kenny's next. Actually, I mean, sort of. I'm trying to think of the top of my head of people as well. I mean, I'm trying to think of the top of people as well. So Ellie Kenny is next. I don't know. Eloise is a bit of a strange person, really, in a way. Very maybe describe her as like a sweet, innocent scatterbrain, something like that. How to describe her? She actually went a bit of a relationship with Matty before. Actually, they went out together. I don't know how many months actually. I'm not too sure really, but maybe a year or two, something. I don't know actually. But they had a relationship. They sort of seized. It did really. Obviously, she's dating some called Josh Ralph, who was still out together, really, of course. Yeah, I don't know. There's always been something a bit of a weird thing with her, really, in a way. I've never quite pinned what it is. Again, like a scatterbrain thing, really, with her. And the only thing I remember was, I think it's like year 11, year 10, year 11. I think about year 11. I think close. I think I don't know. Just said like like a weird question. What did you do? What did you want to do when you were young? Really, what did you want to be? Like like probably want to be a police officer back when I was young. Actually, it's like when she go around and say this to a few people, it's like it's more that type of thing. Really, it's a bit weird, a bit strange actually. That's like one of the rare occasions with Eloise. Really, there's a bit of a weird thing. I don't know what she's like now. Actually, I'm not too sure really, but she's just around really. I don't know what she's doing, so I don't know. So there we go. Emma Larkin is next. I used to fancy Emma Larkin. I did, so I had a crush on her. I did. Christ, sweetness and very talented as well. Of course, good. She used to be in the choir. She did a few musicals. She did like productions, of course, with the secondary school, of course, at the time. Quite a bit talented, really, of course, in a way. Nice girl, really. She went to prom as well. She did, and just like that sort of thing. I met her. I think the last time I saw her would have been in 2017. At Super Sunday. I did, so I saw her there. And she went to Queen Catherine actually. And she hung around with Bailey Dobson as well in that sort of crowd actually. So they sort of been together for a good year. I think that's a bit of an interesting thing actually, a bit of a weird thing actually. But there we go. It's like cross pollinating. From someone from my age, it's like it's all seeping in. It is really. It's like a weird. It's thought a bit weird actually, but there we go. So yeah, I think she worked for the NHS now. I think actually, she went down to London, tried acting. I don't think acting. I think when you do acting, it's like you have to really dedicate yourself. I'm not too sure what went on there. I don't know. But one last thing I saw was a picture of her, and she had glasses and she had like a what do you call it? I have the I used to wear them. I did back in the day. Oh god. Oh, like a card thing, like a card holder, like you wrap around your neck, of course, like an NHS on it. It's like, oh, so she's doing something with the NHS now, or something like that. Of course, I think was that during COVID time last year? I don't know, something like that. I don't know. Bit of a weird thing. But there we go. But not sure what I was doing now actually. But there we go. Alex Longcake is next. Alex, the sort of singer of the group. Sing. She used to improvise a lot in classes. She did, it was just like, I'd probably just come in, of course, and she'd probably just be there, like, coming in, of course, and actually just like improvise singing, of course, and that type of thing. And like it is practicing, of course. She had a good voice. She did, probably still does actually. She just still does singing really. She did act, of course. She did. They did We Will Rock You actually. They did, and she did the version of Killer Queen. She did all the Killer Queen, of course, and hey, she was good actually. It was filmed. It was, believe it or not, fully filmed, but it's gone out of wherever actually now. They posted on YouTube quite a few times, but it's been ceased to exist really. But there is a proper footage, full recorded film version of that actually. Believe it or not, there is. I think it's like a few people on like with cameras on the balconies, of course, the leisure centre where it was filmed, and zoomed in, of course. But she did a good job. She did. Went to university, of course. I think she worked as a lifeguard, trained as a lifeguard actually as well. I think something like that actually. Something to do with I don't know. Maybe something like that actually. I don't know. But doing all right. There we go. Who else? Leslie Irvin. I could probably do next. Leslie. bit of a sort of, I don't know, a bit of an eccentric in a way. Eccentric. Neanderthal. I don't know how to describe Leslie really. Very sort of strange, and I don't know. Some people describe her as a goth girl. She got offended by that. I think for a mate of mine actually, who handed her out, called her offended him, called her a goth girl or something like a oh, fucking goth. It's like probably not mess with her really. Leslie, yeah. And I used to remember she had like bad body odor. She did, believe it or not, back in the day when we would have been, when was it? 15, 16, probably. I think something like that actually. At least she had bad body odor. She did. I didn't mind her very much, but she's always been like essentially weird. Of course, she had about a few people who were probably a bit like that. Really, sort of a bit sane, sort of like in terms of weirdness, sexually stuff as well. It's weird. It is, but it was like hipsters. Not really much. I don't know. This eccentric weirdness really going on. Really, you sang with Harry Clarkson, who sadly committed suicide. Did many years back. A number of years back, he did. Fell off a window. A lot of people think he was drugged up on drink or something like that, or something like like doing a dare or something. But in actual fact, it was like suicide. It was he knew he was going to do it. He was it's like he just jumped out the window. It's like like that really. So I'll briefly mention that actually. Shame. Rest in peace, Harry. Sorry, mate. At least you're in up the sky now, mate. Yeah. So last time I saw her, well, again, this would have been 2017 Super Sunday. I met her in a music bar on the top floor. It's so bad, shall we really? I had the hug actually, and she bit my ear. She bit my left ear. So there we go. Last time I saw Leslie, believe it or not. But there we go. Yeah. Who else can I think of now? Caelan Megson, Christ. Caelan, always the reckless one. He was the one more reckless out of the bunch. He was. Barbaric. They meant well. I was going with him, of course. We still respect each other. Always respect me. Always have a nice little chat when we see each other. Like passing the street one, that type of thing. And yeah, he's always great. He had a bit of stuff going on. He got kicked out. He did anyway. He was one of the few who actually got kicked out. He did. Try to set fire to a table using deodorant and a light he obviously obtained. Obviously it didn't work though actually because it's like a vinyl table. It just didn't say a light apparently. So actually that was, he said, like I think one of the teachers was egging him on. I don't know. It was like a weird thing. Like it's like I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it, mate. And that sort of thing. Like flip the light. It's like people are like panicking. Oh shit! He's got to say a light. He's got there's literally going to be like a fire going on. That type of thing. Another thing, of course, I think maybe it was there. I don't know. Bloody football. Get the football out, and it's like in the classroom, and the bloody ceiling lights and whatnot kept coming off. They were cracked to bits, like the casings outside the lights, like the strobe lights. It was weird. It was something, shards of plastic all over the place, of course, everywhere. Also, I think one of the time, someone, I think he threw a rubber, or somebody did, out the the window of this, where our phone was in a lounges block. It was like on the top floor. It was, and this teacher was walking, of course, past, and apparently, they threw this rubber out the window, not knowing. It was like a bit of a distance. They didn't know someone was down there and landed on the bloody head. And next minute, this teacher goes like, "Who the fuck did that?" That's like, come, like proper lights, like come in. It's like, right, who's that fucker who did that? And it's like, it was proper, like she was proper pissed off. She was, my God, that was something. So yeah, but he ended up being thrown out of course, and he's lived a bit of a decent life. He had a bit of an issue with the police a couple of years ago, but he seems to be doing okay. He seems to be like building back on track, I'll probably say. So yeah, kind of makes who else? Who I think of who's left? Who's left? Oliver White, I'd probably do next actually. Do I? Yeah, Oliver White. Oliver White, tech whiz, very IT technician, of course, but a bit nerdy type fellow, of course. Very talented musician as well, actually, I have to admit. At the time, really, did saxophone. He was a good saxophonist, he was. Really good, did a lot of bars. I think he did other stuff as well, like guitar, maybe keyboards as well, of course. That was the thing, really. But he was a great guy, fantastic. He did a lot of music, he did performing, he did, again, saxophone player, of course. He's recently released a lot of music he did, actually. Obviously, he come out of a bit of a troubled period, of course, involving depression, I think, actually. Like, really coming out, really coming out as, like, make a clean slate or something like that type of thing. And he ended up releasing quite a bit of decent bit of music. A bit of, like, electronic music he released, actually. I don't know what the name of his... He goes under, like, a different name, actually. It's like with me. When I release music, I go underneath the original being, really. So, there we go. Yeah, well, he seems to be doing all right. He seems to be like in a better mind space, I'd probably say. I don't know what happened in between though. That was the thing. Like because he didn't go to prom. He didn't. He never did. Matty never go to prom. Leslie never did. Alex did. Emma did. Eloise did. Yeah. Yeah, so boys, he's doing well. He's a very talented fellow anyway. So there we go. I think I know I think my parents know his mum actually because I get through Equine as well. So there we go. It's something. Bethany Young. Another again token ginger girl. We had Matt Newhouse, token ginger boy, token ginger girl. Bethany Young. kind of a bit like Alice really, but it's very, very sort of small, bit sort of yappy in a way, type thing, which is well type thing, you know, and there's stuff like that really. She had a brief relationship with someone really, that type of thing, but they didn't bully him. Well, I think it was like from parents actually. I don't know really, but I don't know what she's doing. She went to, I think she did like college, art college or something like that, and yeah, so it was basically worked really. Something like that, you know, that sort of thing, really. And yeah, not much said about her, really, to be honest. But sort of in a sort of like sticking into the art crowd, I think. There we go. Heather Kearney, well, she don't have a relationship now. She got married. She did. Heather, she's always quite nice actually. She's a sort of bubbly, decent girl, really blonde hair type thing. You know, the only sort of memorable things about with her, really, the only memorable thing, of course, I kissed on the cheek actually doing Truth or Dare. There we go. And he said, you know, your mouth tastes like soap, really. You know, based on, you know, to kiss on cheek. Well, no, yeah, cheek like tastes of soap. Actually, it's a bit of a strange thing, but she's always been pleasant, really. She didn't go on a prom. Same with Bethany, she never did. They were like good friends. They were Heather and Beth. They were that type of thing. You know, she ended up getting married to a guy called Ben Lishman, of course, still together. I think I saw her briefly, actually. I think recently, I think maybe a couple of days ago, she was walking through town, I think. I was passing the car, I think. You know, maybe. Yeah, I think so, actually, yeah. So I might have seen her briefly walking past, actually, just in town. So there we go. Well, she seems to be having a decent life anyway, so there we go. I met a member of family in college, a guy called Chris Savage, who, again, decent guy, of course, went to Wetherspoons, of course, he's now a dad, so there we go. What else to say, really? So there we go, that's Heather Lishman for you. Heather Kearney, Heather Lishman. So there we go. I think who else actually I can think of now. Chris Mitchell, I forgot about bloody Chris Mitchell, didn't I? Chris, great guy. The boy with the blue eyes, or the nice guy, the handsome fellow with the blue eyes. Mum used to say, I think when has very good strong blue eyes. He has Chris, really great guy, very athletic fella. He, into football, did a bit of kickboxing as well for briefly. Indeed, was a great guy, fantastic fella. I think I saw him maybe in 2017. I know he went to prom, he did, so there we go. He did have a relationship, he did, actually, with someone who I'm not going to mention anyway. People probably know. Some people probably might guess. It's like, yeah, you get the gist, really. But obviously, I think she's been on and off with her, really. I know who she is. I met her a few times anyway. Had a few drinks for her as well. A couple of times, actually. But yeah. It'd be an on and off relationship, but that's it. A relationship is like, no, really. That's sort of ended now. That's finished for good, really. But he's just doing well. He's just carrying on, really doing a lot of pictures of him hiking, whatnot, that type of thing. That sort of thing, really. But he's enjoying himself. Same old Chris, really. There we go. I've seen it for years, so I don't know. There we go. Chris Mitchell, great guy. Who else? So I mean. So did them. Anybody else? I think. Tom Marshall. Yes, I forgot about him, didn't I? Tom, Christ. I've probably seen him for the last anyway. We used to be friends actually. We did. That friendship lasted about 3 years, really. He was a pain in the ass. Really, a bit like stuck in an abusive marriage, really, in a way, if you're still with people like that. It was small, black, curly hair, now again, really, of course, but I don't know, he was, I think when we first started, he was like just pure innocent. By year 8, year 9, he was like a totally different person, really, in a way, and yeah, it was quite sort of hell, really. I think the thing that sort of cemented why that finished, really, I think that's not the main reason why, because it's just a bit annoying, really. He cheated. No, actually, no, he had an affair with, a mate of mine's girlfriend at the time, actually. They were dating at the time, of course. And he was having an affair with her, really, And obviously, he actually bluntly admitted to you know, the boyfriend who it was really, who was again a mate of mine, of course, and that actually pissed him off. That did, you know, that really just fucked him off. That did, and he wanted to pay him out. He did, and so he attempted to blackmail him, and he wanted me to help him. So I ended up being a quarter blackmail scheme with, you know, with him briefly, just like defacing pictures, that type of thing, really. Sort of sabotage, not fully sabotage, if that's like, you know, getting the image of him defaced. It's like you do like in fanzines, like with the punks do with the Queen, really. You know, put swastikas in their eyeballs or something like that, that type of thing. And you know, it's basically that. So like, you know, just use MS Paint or something like that, get a picture and put MS Paint on it or something, and you know, see what results come out really. And of course, they sort of think, you know, oh, just try and find a website and plonk it on there. It's like, well, that never happened. That never gone farther beyond that really. Found out anyway, of course. Obviously, he actually admitted, believe it or not, the guy who wanted to pay him out actually admitted that he was trying to blackmail him, of course, and everything else. And it led to mixture of bad blood, really. Indeed, I haven't spoken to him since 2012, really. Early 2012, yes. So that's nearly 10 years ago. Funny enough, nearly a decade actually. Christ. But I don't know what he's doing really. I think last time I saw someone told me he was a waiter at an Italian restaurant in somewhere. I don't know. Italian restaurant. I think so. I don't know. Yeah, but he sort of grown facial hair, ended up being like heavy metal influence as well. So it's a bit like, wait, what? Oh, that's a bit of an interesting thing, really. So like gone like with like heavy metal, that type of thing. But so there we go. But there we go. He used to be friends, but not anymore. Never will. I never will. Trust me, it's like having like a divorce. That is. That's like having a fucking divorce. Christ. So never see him again. Thank Christ. There we go. Anybody else? I think that's everyone, really. I think I've talked about everyone. Have I? Yes. Yeah, I have actually, yes. I've done everyone, yes. So that's the form group. So that's my form. We were the rambunctious group, of course. We had multiple teachers, we did. We had one teacher, again, was Mrs. No. Then she went on maternity leave, of course. Year 8, that was a bit turbulent in a way, because we had substitute teachers in and out, of course. Year 9, we had a guy called Mr. Hewitt. He was from Manchester. He, again, language teacher, he didn't stay long. He only did one year, of course, with us, and he left. And so year 7 to 9, we were in like a languages block. Year 10, 11, we went to IT department, and we had a guy called Gareth Hamilton, Scottish teacher, who was all right, really, but he was like, I don't know, something about him was a bit I don't know, really, but he left. He went to Lancaster, he did, and went to grammar school, actually, I think, or grammar school, a different grammar school, he went there, actually, so he left, anyway. A lot of the old guards left, anyway, I've noticed, you know, strange. A lot of the old teachers, the old Barlax teachers back in the day, Christ, they were good. They were, you know, straight on, no bullshit, things like that, you know, and obviously they're gone now. Also, they retired. Some of them basically quit and did different jobs, like either become an electrician or something like that, or take a photography full time. I don't know. It's like that, really, you know. Just one of those things. And yeah, that's all I could say. We did actually, you know, the last time, you know, I always thought like, you know, prom was the very last time we probably see each other, really. I was pretty wrong, actually, you know, because in 2017 we saw each other again, Super Sunday. Basically everyone I met from secondary, like all the different forms and everything else in the same, you know, all the same year were there. It was weird. And it's like, you know, it's like, how you doing, Mike? How you doing? And everyone looked at this wave of people, like these people calling class. I was sitting down having drinks and whatnot with my mates from primary, of course. We were just like, you know, Super Sunday, let's have a good time, of course. And everyone was like, Mike, how you doing? That sort of thing, like this like conga line of people. And everyone's like, you know, hang on, how do you know these people? Well, they were from the secondary school, really. It's like, you know, my mates are just looking at me. It's like, you know a lot of people. You know shit to the people you do. Fucking hell, Mike. You know, it's like, you know, it's like being a celebrity in a way. It's like weird, you know. Obviously, met a lot of people, been to, you know, a few places down Wetherspoon. Had a good time, actually. It was nice. It was. That was 2017, it was. So, Christ. Yeah, I would have been about 20 at that point. Christ. Yeah. So there we go. So that's the last time we actually ever hung out. So that was a good fitting book. That's like a nice chapter end to that, really, in a way. Well, a little loose hanging, of course, if you know what I mean. But that's the end of it, really. That chapter's closed, really. We had like this wee reunion. Of course, that was spontaneous. It was a spontaneous reunion. That was. I don't think we'll have like a high school reunion anytime soon. We never will, actually. That's only happens in the States, really. So I doubt it. That's very leastly unlikely to happen. But that reunion in 2017, that was something, actually, and that was actually like, yes, and it's like, that for the door clothes, really, because prom didn't do much, really, because I've basically been outside the whole time on the balcony. Yeah, the meal, of course, in this hotel, whatever, but I spent most of the time outside on the balcony, really, just waiting the sun come down. Had a few conversations here and there, really, with a few other people, but it was like, I just don't know. I wasn't enjoying as much as I was, really. Very much on the back burner, really. But there we go. But that resolved, really. But at that point, really, I felt like, nah. It was like it's sort of ended the downer, really. We ended up a high note in the end, really. So there we go. So that chapter's closed. So there we go. So thank you guys for watching. It's been a long ranting review, but about my fall group, really, about my time in secondary. And I'll see you for the third and penultimate part, which is college. Oh boy. So that's gonna be tough to talk about. There's gonna be a lot of drama in that one. So there we go. So I'll see you then. Thank you guys.